Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the OD Sportscast. I'm your host, Dak.
And I'm Oliver.
And we're going to talk about some free agency moves that happened in the NFL. But before we do that, we're going to start with what we talked about here last time on the episode of the podcast, which was the Moda Center bill, the Senate 1501, where it creates a tax revenue for Moda to be upgraded later in the future. So we're going to go live to that right now on that. Here we go. So, wonderful viewers, as you can clearly see here, what's next for, the Moda Centers with the great building of Moda Center that hosts the Blazers? So I came across this article a few days ago, this really well-known reporter named Sean Hickens. So shout out to him off of Twitter. This is his source, so I would say give him a look when you can. Top Blazers guy if you're wondering for any news on that. So I recommend looking at him. But this last Friday, the Senate Bill 1501, which commits about $350 million in state bonds to the arena, updated after officially made out of the Oregon legislature. So it's a pretty big surprising move. Earlier this week, the bill passed passed a vote in the Senate by a margin of 24-6. Today it was approved by the House of Representatives by a similarly overwhelming margin of 43-13. The bill locks in only about $365 million of the $600 estimated total cost of the project to be paid for using revenue for income taxes on Blazers players and staff, as well as jock tax, money from the salaries of visiting players and other performers who use the arena. The remaining $235 million will come from the city of Portland and Multnomah County, who contributes the bill requires in order of the renovations to move forward. Oliver, what do we think about this? That going forward, that and the Blazers haven't confirmed or commented on anything at the moment about paying towards this, but any time next season, 2026 season, or 27, any visiting team that plays the Blazers for the home games will feed into said jock tax. And then anybody who comes to perform at the arena or anything else will also be fed into that fund. I mean, yes, Moda is the oldest owned arena in the NBA. That's also personally owned by the city. Used to be owned by a private equity company. Private equity company sold it to the city in like 2000, I like to say 2003, 2004. So we've owned it ever since then. So what are your thoughts on this, Oliver?
Well, first of all, it seems, considering the margin that in both chambers that this bill passed, I think it's a guarantee that it's going to happen. It says Tina Kotek supports the bill, so I think it's less of if it's going to happen, it's what do we do about it. But anyway, I've voiced my opinions last time about it. I think generally it's a good idea. It seems they're not entirely putting the 600 million on taxpayers, but I do have other thoughts about it. And I don't have any other frame of reference of other arenas. I do like the Moda Center, but I would agree it needs, I think, some renovations. I don't know what they would do with 600 million, but I'm sure the end result would be pretty cool. As for, I think the problem is I'm kind of concerned about what the jock tax, where they're gonna pay all the away teams. I'm not entirely sure if this is a thing that already happens in other arenas, but I would
Sure, either.
imagine if the jock tax is significant enough, then I feel like that would cause some grumbling among the other teams in the league. I could imagine some action being taken and protests. I'm not saying that I don't think teams will just refuse to go here, but I feel like it's going to put a sour taste in a lot of the teams in the rest of the league. Again, I'm not entirely sure the logistics behind that, but I'm just concerned that's it's gonna kind of poison the reputation the Blazers have in a way.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like again a lot of people are upset about the bill because
Mm.
it's. I mean, part of it is being paid by taxpayer money.
Right.
Not all of it, obviously, but
Not all of it, because
I
it
think,
clearly says state bonds right here.
yeah, state
Yeah,
bonds.
that can yeah, no, that I could see how it could also piss off a bunch of people, how you
It's
would have to pay
gonna,
a bunch of state bonds for it.
yeah, I kind of just fear. I think this will, I think this bill will increase the likelihood by a lot that the team stays in Portland for the time being, which that's a good thing. It's
Yeah.
just, I feel like people will get kind of, people are going to be mad about this, and it's going to
Yeah.
ruin the reputation of the team, I think.
Yeah. I mean, my more big question is the article here only mentions that they're only locking in about $365 million. Yes, that's already a lot as is, but where's the other 3 million going to come from? Because the state bonds are only worth 365 million, and supposedly this jock tax that you guys are including in this bill to help fund the arena comes from performers and the away teams in the NBA. That seems a little vague. I wish they would consider broadening or explain more about how the jock tax would work, because we're only getting a very slim example of what this supposed jock tax will look like when the bill is signed into law by Tina Kotek.
Yeah, I mean, it also says like yeah, they're being very vague about it, but it says it will come from Portland and Multnomah County, which I'm assuming it could be just more bonds that they hold, or they're just gonna use their tax money to pay for it. Which again, I think I'm glad that the majority of the cost is not going to be directly on us. I think people, again, I think the fan base, at least within the city of Portland, is definitely not. Oh my God, I'm blanking. It's definitely not the majority of people in Portland. I think
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know if there's a poll on this, but I think the vast majority of people from Portland just don't care. And in fact, they're
Mm,
gonna get. I think
yeah.
people are mad about this. They need to reassure everyone about how they're gonna use the money for the arena.
Yeah. I mean, as currently states, it's like okay, we can see this, renovation project going further in the future, but, there's still many looming questions about, what this whole thing will be about and all that. So I guess we'll
And
just have to stay tuned to that.
yeah, and I feel like they're probably going to stay quiet on this for a while. I don't imagine they would want to let everyone know, like, hey, we're going to use your tax money for this arena that you probably never even visited and stuff. Although, I mean, again, I think still it's generally a good thing. It's just we need to hold our representatives accountable and make sure they tell us where the money's come from.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would agree with that. Well, now we move on to some NFL free agency news. So as of when was this? This was March 2nd. So this was a day after we recorded the first episode on Monday, because we recorded it Sunday. The by this time, I know this might be old news for you guys, but the Detroit Lions traded David Montgomery to the Texans in exchange for 2 draft picks and a lineman named Juice Struggs. I mean, yes, I could see the Texans trying to bolster their offensive line or their running back room with adding David Montgomery, especially with how he played alongside Jameer Gibbs last season. But if we're expecting David Montgomery to explode in the Texans offense, I'm sorry, Texans fans, I think you're severely mistaken, because you guys were pretty bad last year.
Yeah, I mean, again, football isn't entirely my strong suit, but I feel like the Texans they're in a weird spot last season where they did make the playoffs, but they didn't exactly they're they're like in the weird spot where they're sort of Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're kind of going about it the wrong way. I feel like the front office was almost in like a win now mode. I'm not entire I'm not
Because they've always made the wild card, or they're in the hunt type of
yeah, I
team
know
for like last few seasons.
they've been stuck there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it does clear up. let's see, what does it say here? It cleared up for the Lions about about 5.9 million that cleared up for their cap space. Oh no, 5.6 because Graham Graston now retired or was released, more or less. But I mean, we'll see what happens. A running back room with David Montgomery and Woody Marks would be interesting to see. I would also probably like to say that the Texans should start worrying about probably getting rid of CJ Stroud or pivoting to a quarterback in free agency. Somebody who I think would do well, maybe under the Texans offense, maybe Kyler Murray. It's a possibility.
Possibly. I mean, I feel like it doesn't seem like 5 million. It's not like massive money where they could acquire someone big. So I feel like they're kind of chipping away. I don't think at the moment they can do anything where they can massively increase their standings. I mean, I want to say it's the worst move of all time.
No.
It's not a terrible move. Acquiring David Montgomery and Juice Scruggs, that trade, I think, is it's a fine move. It's just if they want to be Super Bowl contenders, I think they just have to free more space and just not be afraid to get a better player. Really,
Right. 100%. 100% agree with what you're saying here. Yeah, it's not so surprising news. I kind of saw this coming. We'll pivot to my Chiefs now. So, Kansas City's going through this whole rebuild because, 6-10 last season, and, we're making a bunch of cap space moves and trying to probably sign a big free agent running back or wide receiver to be determined. But into part of doing the cap space move, because the league new year will begin Wednesday. I thought it started Monday, so it starts Wednesday next week, or this coming Wednesday. Kansas City has now cut Jawan Taylor. I personally think this is a good move due to not it just saving 20 million against the salary cap for us, and just dead money that we could use that towards signing a big free agent, but also I think like the last two seasons in the NFL, Juwan Taylor's led into false starts on the line, and I'm like, dude, I mean, I get you're supposed to be good and everything because we got you from a trade from Jacksonville, but when you lead for the last 2 years in a row in false start, that tells you something, and that we're still trying to restructure that O line tells you a lot.
yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely sure of the more specific stats. I didn't realize he led in false starts. So I'd agree. It's definitely not a pretty sign if you have a player like that on your team. So I would agree. Releasing him is probably sounds like a good idea. It kind of sucks that they are kind of in a rebuild mode. I feel like they have the capacity to go back to being Super Bowl contenders. I said this last time, but I don't think they're ever going to be at their height where they could start a streak. But I feel like if they just like work on their players and do some moves like releasing Jawan Taylor and getting someone else, like someone who's really gone on defense, I suppose. I think that's a good step, and I think that would put them better off. I feel like around the league, there's still teams that are capable of better growth. I feel like they're winning a Super Bowl would still be kind of a long shot. I don't think a rebuild could turn around that quick.
No, I mean it does take time, but I mean, how small of a chance do you see the Chiefs making that Super Bowl window?
So, like the just full on,
Just full in Super.
I would say like 10 to 15% maybe.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I think there's teams that weren't contenders last year that would be below that. But yeah, I think I it's not a bad chance. It's not a long shot.
No.
They could make. I think I'm confident they could make the wild card at least.
Okay. So you still think they could still be a playoff team, just not fully going all the way to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think chances of making a wild card could be around like 50-60% maybe.
Yeah. Because like I would say you can never count out Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick
Obviously,
Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is still relatively young.
still young. He's still one of the top 5 QBs in the league. all that.
And yeah, he will be his injury hopefully will be healed mostly by the time the season starts.
Yeah. I
So
mean, yeah, I mean, the thing I'm more upset about is if I thought, releasing Juwan Taylor was fine every day. I had no problem. But when I woke up, I think it was like Wednesday morning, I see the tweet on my phone right as I'm making breakfast. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Clicks on it. And it's from the NFL. The NFL reported that we had traded Trent McDuffie to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 second rounders and 1 third rounder in next year's.
yeah, I don't think they need to go. I don't think they need to go to the point where they trade their best players for picks. I think if they, I guess they really, I think they truly are like. What that's telling me is they're now in a state where they're like, where we're at right now, we can't be contenders. We need to go full rebuild mode. I guess, which I would agree is a disappointing move. I don't think they should have done that. If you trade one of your star players for a bunch of picks, there's no going back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can understand you're trying to build your draft capital, but the Chiefs are in a current situation where we don't need to build our draft capital. We just need to work on the offense. It's mostly offense, and by trading away Trent McDuffie like that, one of like the top corners in the league, tells you a lot. I mean, this hasn't just happened to Trent McDuffie, but like 3 seasons ago, we let Ladarius Sneed go to the Titans, and he signed like a massive bag with the Titans. And then we let Joe Thuney go in that trade to Chicago. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Why can't we just give them the big bag? And I looked up how old, McDuffie was. Only 26. Still can play at a high level.
yep,
At 26, we're trading for 2 second rounders and 1 third rounder for next year. Are you kidding me? We could be doing something better.
yeah. Like I mean, the past is in the past. I feel like again, I don't. Again, I'm not really one to deeply follow NFL offseason moves, but what that's telling me is the front office is not confident with their current players.
Apparently not.
Yeah, they're not confident at all, and they want to rebuild. And I think if they continue to do if they continue to do things like that, where they just release all their players and try and build up draft capital and money to sign people, I think they need to really look inwardly and be like, what we need to build young, um, because again, when you start a rebuild, you can't stop midway.
Yeah.
So at this point,
No, I mean, I would agree with what you're saying there. I mean, I
and
feel like the front office should start being more confident, and that they should stop trading away like star players. It's like imagine they gave up on Patrick Mahomes so early, and then they just trade
yeah,
him
and I mean,
away, and it's like, what are we doing now?
God, and like if that actually happened, they'd be punching themselves in the face about that. And I mean, I can understand the mindset. They went through one of the steepest falls last season, and like Travis Kelsey is likely to retire very soon. So
Most likely.
like even if their dynasty were to continue, eventually it would be ending with either it would probably be ending within like a couple seasons if
Yeah.
everything went right for them. So I can understand the move, but I think they still have time. They still have time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they have in store. But I'm gonna move to a kind of a bigger situation that we have right now in the NFL right now. I know you don't follow the off season, but I thought you would. I wanted to see what your thought was on this one. So on Friday, I was out, at a show with my mother and a couple of my other friends, and at Moda, just having a good time, and I'm scrolling on Twitter, and I see something along the lines of this, when I was watching the show. The Raiders are trading star edge rusher Max Crosby to the Ravens for pick 14 in this year's draft and additional compensation. This is live. This was from Ian Rappaport on Friday as I saw it, and I was like, in a blockbuster trade. So Las Vegas gave up 2 first round picks, including the 14th one for this year's draft, and the Ravens get Max Crosby, and I'm like, what are we doing here? We're just gonna make the Ravens better after they choked it last season. And Ian Rappaport's now also saying that yeah, like what do we think about this? That Max Crosby is a Baltimore Raven.
Well, I mean, the Ravens were definitely the closest out of anyone to make the playoffs, and I think they're definitely not going down a steep hole. So they made a good move and getting a player who's already good. They could definitely they knew what was up. They knew that they were contenders still. They made the right move. As for the Raiders, I think it was kind of a silly move. I understand wanting to get more picks because they are clearly rebuilding, but
And about to
they're
draft
already
Fernando Mendoza.
yeah, they're already due to get Fernando Mendoza, who's I mean, he killed it in the like I mean, it's very obvious as a college student. I definitely followed college football closely, and he he's a beast. He completely outshined Dante Moore. So like I think he's gonna be a very big star. And the Raiders are certainly the future can look bright if they can continue their rebuild and make sure they don't fuck up like either by drafting someone else for whatever reason or building him up or using the future picks for good.
Right.
But I don't know why they would trade him because I think it would help if he got a very solid player, um, like Max Crosby to really pair them, so they can at least not be like one of the worst teams in the league. I don't think they're definitely not like contenders in any mean,
No,
but
not from
I
long shot.
think I think they don't have to be bottom in the league.
Okay.
That doesn't need to happen.
I
And I
mean,
guess
well, sorry to cut you off, but not to let alone they also just released Geno Smith or released him to save up cap space, and they don't want to throw Fernando Mendoza right into the Lions den just yet. So the real question is, who will be their new QB1? Will they go after a quarterback in free agency, or will they actually throw Fernando Mendoza into the Lions den?
I mean, I think they probably have confidence in him, and I think they might end up doing that. I don't think they should. I do think they should get a solid quarterback in free agency to like be a mentor and whatnot. Although they could also build pieces around him. But what I was going to say earlier is I think the Raiders what they're showing what this trade is. I think to they want to commit to the rebuild just a little bit longer
Yeah,
by getting more picks, which it's a fine move. I hope that doesn't hurt Fernando Mendoza in any way,
yeah.
but I can sort of respect going all in for the rebuild. Again, I'm personally kind of don't like tanking.
Mm,
I understand why you would do that. I mean, maybe they're trying to tank. I don't know,
who knows?
but
We can only
they're
speculate.
probably doing. I think they were doing that last season. So
I
I
mean,
wouldn't say it's the worst trade of all time. Absolutely not. I think there's benefits. There's benefits for the Raiders for this trade.
there's pros and cons. I mean, the real question is going into next season, do we see the Ravens choking again, or do we see them actually making it to a conference championship game with the
Next
addition of
season.
with now the addition of Max Crosby?
Oh, you're talking about the Ravens.
Yeah,
That's my. I don't know. I don't think they would be. I know the Ravens are in a division that's pretty even, so they very well could win their division. As for like, yeah, they could very well win their division. Otherwise, I think they're definitely. I want to say it's a lock, but they're much more likely to make the wild card at the very least.
mm,
So I wouldn't worry about that. They're not. I wouldn't say they're Super Bowl contenders. I think it would be possible, but a little bit of a stretch to make the conference or not conference division or whatever. Oh my God, I'm mixing terms up. My apologies, but they could make the semis. I think.
so we
Actually, I'm
so
looking.
we yeah, go
Let me
ahead.
look. I'm just looking at who else is in their division. I mean. No, Aaron Rodgers might retire for the Steelers, so
Possibly, they're saying he might come back, but
he could come back. Although
I could see him retire.
I think the Steelers probably might decline a little bit. So yeah, I think Baltimore definitely is in a much better spot. So I think it's very likely they make the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, Steelers, the way I see it is that Baltimore makes wild card, clinches their division. Steelers go 9-8, and then Bengals. Oof, I forgot about the Bengals. Cincinnati, I mean, yes, Joe Burrow's returning from that turf toe injury we saw from like the last few games of this last season that, he could still play. But the problem I'm having with Cincinnati is how much longer will they have Joe Burrow until he decides to snap and, his happiness is gone playing from that team. If you saw during one of his old press conference interviews, it looks like he's having no more. It looks like there's no more fun for him in terms of playing for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they've kind of fallen off a cliff since their Super Bowl appearance 4 years ago. But I mean, I think he will probably leave. I don't know like what his contract is at. So I think if they want to keep him, they should at least do a little bit to make sure they get a couple more wins. Maybe aim for the playoffs. At least maybe go above 500.
About 500.
I mean, well, I don't think that can happen next season, but I think I think it is important to try and keep him. I'm not saying ruin your salary cap to make sure that just one player stays, but I think it's a process, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know like how hot-headed he is, like how much it would take for him to stay, but yeah, I don't know what to say about that one.
Because, like, I don't want this to turn into a whole nother Andrew Luck type situation.
Yeah.
Retires at an early age due to injuries and all that. So hopefully that won't happen. But I mean, I could see Cincinnati making the wild card as well.
Well, yeah.
If they can project themselves in the right direction, of course. But I think it's mostly going to be Baltimore and the Steelers.
But yeah, the gap in that conference could widen a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, the Browns are still gonna suck. It's not really much you can do about that. Yeah, I mean that conference could be interesting. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care about any of the teams in that conference,
That's completely understandable too.
so I don't follow their news. But I'm gonna drop my phone, and
Yeah, right.
I don't have any other words about that conference at the moment.
All right. Tough. We're gonna look at the top running back market real fast. NFL released this about like 21 hours ago, but these are the top free agent running backs that teams are going to be looking into of signing and kind of bolstering their offense. Out of these top five, who do you think would benefit the most on each team? Like, I want to hear what your speculation would be on some of these running
Well,
backs on their teams.
I'll go down the list. Kenneth Walker, he's fresh off of a Super Bowl victory, and if the Seahawks offer him to return, I don't really see why he wouldn't accept that offer. And I mean, again, the Seahawks are off of a Super Bowl victory, and that's definitely not a time to make a ton of moves. So I think that's probably the best bet for him. Travis, yeah, here's where I get less familiar with the players, but Travis, I know he's from the Jags. I feel like he could leave. I don't know what team would benefit most from him. Although the Jaguars have been improving. So again, he could stick around. Kenneth Gainwell again, yeah. Um, yeah. I'm just really quickly looking up like stats of this player.
Yeah, no, 100%. I I think based off, I think for my team for Kansas City, I think because we're gonna let Isaiah Pachenko walk. I mean, yes, Isaiah Pachenko has been a good running back, but I think we're just gonna end up letting him walk. And out of these top five, who do I think will be good for the Chiefs? Probably Travis NTT Jr. He's been really electric for Jacksonville, and I would love to see him play for.
Yeah.
for Kansas City.
I mean, I might as well pair it. I think, well, for my team, the 49ers, there's not really a reason for us to look at the running back market. Christian McCaffrey's still doing great. We could definitely make moves elsewhere. Like, we need a better, we definitely need, like, better O line. And I'm not sure about the market for that. But, yeah. I guess as for the other players, you're right. I think Travis, and I can't pronounce anything. Travis would do good for the Chiefs. That would really help. They do need a better running back for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not sure about the other players. Rico, Dowdle, Tyler, Algier. I think, yeah.
Algier
Not.
last played for Atlanta. Rico Dowdle last played for Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely those two players. They're on worse teams. They might want to leave. So I can see teams going for those players very often. Again, like this is really one of my goals in the short term. I want to understand more about how like football really works. It's not like I'm
And
completely
the
clueless, but
and the analytics, you just want to kind of be like, oh,
yeah, I
okay.
mean, like I think it's very clear to the viewers. I know more about basketball
Yeah.
because that's my main sport, but which I mean, if we have time, I have the topic I suggested. I put it in the wrong column, but
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
that'll be our final topic. Is there
Okay.
anything else you want to say about this?
Not about this. The wide receiver market. I'll run through the wide receiver market a little bit real fast. So top free agent wide receivers currently are for the NFL are Alec Pierce, last played for the Colts. Rashid Shaheed, last played for the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. I'm surprised Seattle is letting him go to free agency. I think a big name out of this whole entire list, though, is Mike Evans. Where do we see Mike Evans going? Because does he stay loyal to Tampa Bay and, stays there, gets another 1,000 receiving yards like he always does because he's the 1,000 receiving yard king? Or do we finally see him walk to maybe like a division rival or to the AFC?
I mean, I really feel like he wouldn't be loyal to Tampa. I feel like they're not really they're kind of falling off a cliff. So if a team offers a better contract and Tampa can't match, then he would definitely leave. Teams he could go to. I'm not really sure needs a lot of offense. I think I heard something saying the Chargers might be looking at him because they're definitely in a spot where are kind of in need of better offense. And kind of when now I think the Ravens could also make a couple more moves. I don't know what their salary issues look like at the moment. Off the top of my head, I don't know any other teams that could really use him super well. None of the rebuilding teams I don't think would want him.
Mm.
So yeah, I feel like I mean I'm just as I'm speaking, I'm just kind of looking at stats and articles. A lot of them say Los Angeles. Yeah, and I would agree. I've watched some of their games. That would be my opinion.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll have to see where where Mike Evans does go. I could see him possibly. Well, we can't say Bills anymore because the Bills have DJ Moore from Chicago. They did that trade with Chicago to get him, so they have their electric receiver that they've been wanting. I could probably see Mike Evans now going to Minnesota to team up with Justin Jefferson. Chargers is a good one. I could see him also going to Indianapolis, maybe. I don't think that would be bad whatsoever. It would just have to be. We'll just have to see what the time comes for that. But yeah, well, Oliver, we can go over to your
Yeah,
thing now.
we'll horseshoe back to basketball. So I know this is a topic of hot discussion. Adam Silver and other people say that tanking is a big problem in the NBA. There's like 6 teams that are heavily tanking, and I would agree it's a problem. And I know a couple weeks ago they had discussions on what to do to fix it. So I'll go down the list. First round drafts can only be protected top 4 or top 14. Lottery odds freeze at the deadline, no longer allowing a team to pick the top 4 in consecutive years. Teams can't pick the top 4 after making conference finals. Lottery odds allocated on 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams and flat odds. And I know they suggested some other wild ones, like having a tournament
Yeah.
or even making drafting like free agency, which I think that's the dumbest idea of all time.
Yes,
I would literally think the NBA would go out of business if they did that.
I saw like this horrible take off of First Take on ESPN where they invited someone and someone was talking about we should have rookies. We should have a different stage of rookies instead of going through the draft process. Have it become free agency and then later on open it up to all the all stars and the veterans and all that. And I'm like, really? You think that's a good idea? And oh, best believe I saw Stephen A. Smith absolutely tear his ass down when he brought that whole idea up. I would have done the
Dude,
same. It's so dumb. What? No, don't make it a free agency. It should stay as the draft. I mean, the NBA's been through so many changes with the draft lottery alone. We had envelopes at one point, but then we had the infamous frozen envelope scandal where the Knicks, never got the first round pick ever again. And then I believe like 1984, one had to do with the Rockets and drafting Hakeem Olajuwon and so forth, so on. And then they introduced the ping pong balls, and there was some controversy with that one. I don't know behind like what the controversy for that one was, but
I
there
think it had
was
to do with how regular lotteries, like state lotteries, were run. Although
probably.
that's just a hunch, because I remember reading stories about how state lotteries have been run.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
anyway,
but I mean, yeah, and then we're at a stage now where they do it behind closed doors, and then they do it, do an old fashioned like gigantic card where they're like, all right, with the first pick, second pick, and etc. It's like okay, but here's a really good question. That if the NBA is worried about tanking, then explain to me how the Dallas Mavericks last year managed to get the first overall pick from the Luka trade and then eventually pick Cooper Flag. Make that
I
make
mean,
sense.
I feel like I I really I really don't like being conspiratorial because I just think it's kind of dumb to assume everything's part of a deeper conspiracy, but I would agree. I think there was a little bit of wizardry involved with that. It could just be dumb luck, or it could just be the NBA trying to compensate for the Luka trade. But still, even despite all that, they still suck. They are kind of in the tanking discussion. So I'm not opposed to thinking there's a little bit of rigging going on. I don't think it's to the point where they handpick every pick every single year for every team, but I think and I know there's some weird like corrupt shit going on in the Mavericks front office which had to do with that. So that's the can of worms. I do believe that conspiracy, honestly. I was going to do is I was going to go down these list of solutions. We could discuss those.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I do want to point out, I know th- I don't think Adam Silver is entirely vocal about this, but I can tell one specific reason they want to stop tanking is to appease the gambling companies that are partnered with the NBA. Because with easier bets on games means less money going to the gambling apps, and I think it's just sick. Like, listen, in my opinion, I kind of hate gambling.
I don't care for it.
I don't see the appeal of gambling at all, and I understand people will get addicted to that, but even just casual, I don't understand. I'm not gonna hate anyone if they partake in casual gambling. I just don't find the appeal. But anyway,
Yeah.
I know it's made its way into every there's like even the score bugs, I know. Like I've seen clips where this like the score bugs on games has the FanDuel logo, and I'm like, it's
Or
bitterly ironic.
Koshiers or places like that.
DraftKings, whatever.
DraftKings, all that.
Like I find it bitterly ironic. That's like here's an ad about gambling, and then they have the here's a gambling logo below the action, and then they're like, remember to gamble responsibly, people. Like it's plainly clear that they don't want that. Anyway, That's a tangent. Let me talk about these solutions.
Yep, go
So
right ahead.
first round picks can only protected only for top 14 plus selections. I don't mind the solution. It would protect. I think guaranteeing picks would incentivize teams not to tank. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or at a later date. On paper, this works. And it would prevent teams from tanking in the second half of the season. The only problem is that this is going to make teams tank at the start of the season, even earlier than they already do, which is going to make the beginning of the season a slog to watch. So, as long as there's a date involved, I don't think it's a good solution. No longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years or consecutive bottom 3. I'm not a big fan of this because it is true that some teams can just suck for a long period of time, and I would agree this would prevent long-term tanking over seasons. Good. But if a team just truly sucks, they would just get punished for no reason for continuing to suck. So it would kind of put a timer on things. So I think that's bad for the truly trash teams. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals. I'm not really sure why that's the thing. Maybe it's because of the Pacers, but I guess they could put some punishment for making the playoffs in general. Lottery odds are allocated based off of 2-year records. Believe it or not, I'm not that opposed to that solution. It would kind of mute the problem overall because teams would still tank. It wouldn't, like, if they were good the previous years, there wouldn't really be much of a thing. That would be a very small solution that I guess they could go off of. Lottery
Yeah.
teams include playing teams. I guess that's fine. I don't think it would completely solve the problem. And finally, flatten odds for all lottery teams. Controversial take, but I do think that's the best solution.
Mm,
I wouldn't want to go back to the system they had like in the late 80s where the teams were just completely the same among all of them. That would be too extreme of a solution.
yeah.
But I think the whole point of a lottery is that it's supposed to be random. So if they're to flatten it just a little bit more than they already do, it's just less insurance for the worst teams. Now, that would mean situations like what happened to the Dallas Mavericks would be more likely,
Mm, yeah.
but if they like, I think probably what I would do is I would slightly lower or keep it the same, just the amount of teams that are in the lottery. So like all the teams that don't make the play-in already, which they're already in the lottery, and then just like flatten the odds by like 50% of what it already is. That's probably what I would want to do because now what that would mean is it would still mean teams in the play in because like we already see this where the gaps between the play in and all the tanking teams are still really high. That would stay, but the teams that are tanking they wouldn't really be going against each other, I think. So that's
Right.
what I would do a combination of that and maybe the first option where the protected picks are more restricted. That's
Okay.
I'd probably do a combination of that.
Do a combination of both of
What do you
that.
think about that, Dak?
Yeah, I mean, a combination of both. I think that would make sense. It would incentivize less tanking to happen, obviously, and that it would be more of an efficient way for not just the NBA as a whole, but as teams to be like, okay, I think we can all get behind this. So yeah, no, I would definitely be in favor of that, 100%.
Yeah, and I feel like tanking is always going to be. It's never going to go away, no matter what happens.
Unfortunately.
There's always with dates and guidelines. There's always a fine. There's always a way to divide teams and incentivize them when they go at a certain point. And I mean, even ignoring all the gambling, tanking is a huge problem, and it makes most games not fun to watch
Yeah.
if you just go in with the intention, oh, they're gonna lose. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, as the article had stated, the Jazz and the Pacers had gotten fined extraordinary amounts of money for sitting out their players, during the fourth quarter of that game between the Jazz. So the Jazz got fined about $500,000, and the Pacers got fined about $100,000. Even though both the players were healthy, the team just decided to sit them out and say, "Oh yeah, they're hurt." We're just we're just not going to play them, even though the Jazz were up in that game, by the way, and then the Pacers came back to win that. So
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing that this article doesn't directly mention. I would probably have more clear guidelines on what it means to tank, at least in a specific game. So now, and maybe be harsher about those punishments. Now, I can see that would open up a can of worms and just a ton of questions about like what are the specific lines you have to cross to be considered tanking, which that's the problem. But I think like small solutions I do is like maybe have like clear like health exams or whatnot to like determine if a player is truly hurt, like just like have a like someone on court like check them and it's like or have like minimum minutes or something could work. But again, that just opens so many logistical questions and it could truly punish teams. It was like what if my starter is like having a stomach bug who could
mhm.
play but just doesn't feel like it playing that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%.
the least they can do, I think, is less protected picks and flatten the odds. That's
Hmm.
probably what they can do in the short term.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's that for that topic.
This could be also our last topic for this episode. Jason Tatum returned.
Yes, he did, and I did watch some of that game.
I watched the highlights after it because I was like, snap, this is the return of Tatum. So here's a short little clip. We're gonna watch like a few seconds of it so we don't get copyright strucken. But as you can see, tip ball and everything. And then here comes, yep, okay, here we go. So Jaylen Brown passes it, Tatum off to a swing, lobs it up, and then gets that dunk. That's not the first time he scored in his return though, but he was on a minutes restriction, obviously, so I can completely understand.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean,
Um,
to see
actually,
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna look up his stats and stuff
Oh
for
yeah, go ahead.
this.
He was out. He was out for over 10 months with that Achilles injury, and then all of a sudden he just comes back and absolutely balls out.
Yeah, and 10
And
months is rather short for an Achilles tear.
yes.
Now, I'm gonna. I just so I know his minute. He's on a minutes restriction, and which explains he. I think for the 2 games so far this season, or no, just 1 game. My apologies. He only scored 15 points, I think, which obviously is way lower than his normal, but it makes sense. There's still a lot of rust that needs to wear off, and he's on a minutes restriction. But I think just considering that like he was completely fine, I was kind of fearful that he would just get hurt again. But he exceeded my expectations, and he's playing. He played like 10 minutes less than he normally does. But even considering that it's like less than 10 minutes, it's still a lot. Like if he went another 10 minutes, he could have probably scored at least like 20, I bet. Which isn't that far off from his totals. Like he scored 26.8 on average last season, which is only 10 off. So
Yeah.
I think the Celtics are definitely able to make it far in the playoffs. Again, I'm hesitant to call them a finals contender. Still don't think they're quite. I still think there's more teams in the league that are better equipped to win in the finals.
Hmm.
And it's late enough in the regular season, and Tatum still has a lot of time where he needs to get the groove back, and he's probably going to be on restricted minutes for the rest of the season. So I don't see their seeding going anywhere.
To be very high. Yeah.
I think, yeah, they're probably going to maintain wherever they're at right now. I think it's 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
No, they're first. They're first in
Oh, they're
the.
first?
They're first.
Oh,
Let me see.
there's no way. The Pistons are still on a hot streak, aren't they?
Let me see. Sorry, I might have had that backwards. They're first in their conference. No, they're second. Yeah, they're second.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. They're probably I can see them maintaining the 2 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing right now the Knicks are 2 games removed from the 2.
Behind. Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like the top three is going to stay where it's at. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I could see that too, and the Magic and Raptors sliding into the wild card round or the first round of the
Mm,
playoffs.
I don't know. I might as
Heck
well
yeah,
do this well since we're here.
yeah.
The Hornets are even hotter than they were when we last talked.
Yes.
I don't think they've lost a game since last week.
7-3 their last 10 games. They're on a 1-game losing streak, but they're still playing at a high elite level.
I mean, yeah, look at that. They're back. They're now at 500.
Yes, fun fact, John Knipple is the first Charlotte Hornet since Walker to shoot over 200 threes, I think, in franchise history.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone could agree on this. Out of all the teams in the league, the Hornets probably have the best outlook. Now, is that enough to take them out of the play-in? Absolutely not. Although I could definitely see them getting up to the 7 or 8 seed,
Yeah.
so they can
Do you
at
see them
least.
winning the play-in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Out of all the playing teams, I think they have the best shot. Now, I think they're still gonna lose first round, but I think if they shock the world by going from like not even playing contender or wherever they were like in December
Hmm.
to making the play-in, I think that is a great step. They could that they're ready to fight. Now, as for the season after, looking really far ahead, I still think they could definitely be capable of going past the plan.
Oh, okay.
It all depends on what they do in the off season. But yeah, that's the Hornets. And I will say, I actually really don't mention this a lot, but I would say I am a Hornets is like my go-to Eastern Conference team, and I only say that
Ooh, okay.
because one, you could call me a bandwagon, but they've been an entertaining team so far. But also, my dad is a huge Hornets fan because he grew up in Charlotte, so
There you go.
I don't know. So call me a Glazer, but that's what I'm gonna say.
I mean, just to see the turnaround the Hornets have been having since the Kemba era has had ended tells you something. Like they had some pretty big down years, but then ever since they drafted LaMelo, they kind of project themselves to have that entertaining aspect for them, but also a fighting chance to even maybe make it out of the play-in 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they still. Well, I mean, I don't know. Three. It's only 3 games. I feel they're not. I don't think they're gonna be in a point where they could leave the plan. But like, I don't know. I hope my goal as like a very slight Hornets fan. And I mean the slight. The Blazers will always be number one. But I hope they make at least 8. That's my goal for them.
Hmm.
And
You think they
I
make it
think
to the
that's
eighth seed? Okay.
I think that's the best manageable, reachable goal for them. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's that.
I would like to even, while we're talking about the Hornets, I mean, I would like to even talk about the Spurs in the Western Conference. Like the
Oh yeah,
Spur, this I don't know if you saw the game last night, but the Spurs came back from a 20 point deficit against who was it? It was like
I don't remember,
let me see,
but I do know what game you're talking about. I didn't watch, but I
25
heard
point rally. Oh,
it was
against
the
the
Clippers.
Clippers. Clippers. Yeah, the fact that the Clippers are well known for blowing those type of games is quite hilarious to me. But I mean, Wemby dropped was it 27? Oh boy. Dropped 27 points. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Here we go. Had 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 27 points, and 1 steal and 4 blocks. Yeah, that what a freaking comeback.
Yeah,
I saw like the last few minutes of this game and I was like, it's the
he's
Clippers though.
DPOI. He's DPOI or
100%.
DPO. Oh my, not whatever.
Deep
Defensive Player of the Year material.
yeah,
That's
DPOY.
definitely that's that. I think he could. I don't know what the runnings are for this year, but I think he isn't he like really high in the runnings for it.
I think so. Let's take a
Whatever. I mean, Wemby's definitely a star and can bring the Spurs to a championship. And I know like Savon Castle is good. The Area 51 duo there. I know they're a good duo. I mean, Dylan Harper.
yeah.
He's met expectations, I think.
So right now, Wemby is yes currently -500, current odds favorite to win the DPOY award at the moment,
Yeah.
followed by Chet Holmgren at +500. But it's most likely probably
Eh.
going to go to Victor.
Oh, it's probably gonna go to him. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, the Spurs are up and comers. They're contenders this year. I don't see why they wouldn't be contenders in the future.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like I don't know. I saw something that was like a couple weeks ago. Sometime he had a really hot start in the first quarter. It was like, oh, is he gonna break a scoring record? Obviously, that didn't end up happening. But like, it made me think he's kind of, in a sense, he's kind of like today's Wilt Chamberlain, almost. Like nowhere near as good. But like, I don't know. I see similarities between the two.
Like I'm looking at most of the odds here for each award, and fun little fact:
Hmm.
our Blazers own Jeremy Grant is in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. Surprisingly, he's
Yeah,
nowhere
even though he
close to winning
started
it,
like
but
so
he's
many games.
yeah,
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
good for him. He's been doing really fucking good this year, which has shocked me. I
Oh
know
yeah,
people make fun of him for being overpaid, which he is, but like, I mean, it's not like he scores double digits every night,
no,
which in my mind, that's if someone scores double digits typically off the bench, that's a good player in my brain.
yeah, definitely. I mean, the current favorite to win Sixth Man is Naz Reid from the Timberwolves.
Figured.
But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, let's even talk about Rookie of the Year real fast. Do we want to? You want to take a wild guess who is in the running to win Rookie of the Year this year?
It's probably Khan now, wouldn't it be?
Yes, that is correct. It is
Yeah.
Colin Knueppel.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know the specific criteria they use when selecting Rookie of the Year, but there's two ways you could look at it. Cooper Flag averages much better. He
Good point.
averages better in almost all stats that aren't shooting related,
Mm-hmm.
and he scores a lot. Like I think he scored that almost 50-point game, which is impressive. That alone is Rookie of the Year material. But the thing is, I think the asterisk is that he's on the Mavericks, which is a team that really sucks right now. So, and he
Right.
is the best player on that entire team. Khan, on the other hand, besides all the 3-point shooting, I wouldn't call him the best player on the Hornets yet. Like, LaMelo still does more for the team than him.
Oh,
And
100%.
yet they still are relatively similar when it comes to stats. It's just that Khan's only a little bit less. And I think just because of that, I think Khan deserves it more. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Cooper Flag is trash, but I feel like 2025 has been a pretty stacked year, especially compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the other rookies, I think they're kind of out of contention. Like, sorry, VJ's great, but I feel like this is kind of a two-man race here. Like I would say 95% is going to be one of those two.
All right. And then we'll talk. We'll do a little quick MVP talk real fast.
Yeah.
I know we briefly touched on it, I think last episode, but the current odds on favorite between the two at the moment are Shea and Nikola Jokic. Out of those two, who do we think would win MVP?
It's I mean, out of the two, I would probably say Shea.
Shea.
I think he averages more per. Well, I mean, no. I think Jokic averages more typically per game, but Shea's on the better team. He's already off of an MVP last year, and just considering the whole like injury thing, he has more of a runway. Like he doesn't have to miss. He can miss a couple more games than Jokic, I think. And I don't know. I mean, it's pretty late in the season, so it's not say it's a guarantee. But yeah, I need to look at their stats.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, Jokic pretty much averages more. across the board. But I think it's 50-50 in my opinion. And also, I don't know how much the committee, whoever decides MVP, they consider back to backs. But I mean, both. Oh my god, holy voice crack! But both of those players have won MVPs before, so I mean, who's the number? Who's the number 3 actually? Maybe would it be
That's who.
Cade?
That's Cade, yeah.
I would. I mean, I would say equally as much. He could get that.
Mm.
He has more runway on the. He's on the best team in the league so far. I mean, he averages less. I don't know. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be just such a close race, so we'll just have to stay tuned and find out, you know.
Stay tuned.
And and I feel like the Blazers might win some more games now I think about it, because Philadelphia is going to be. I just read a report while we're recording this that Tyrese Maxey's going to be out for this game against the Blazers. Same with Joel Embiid. No surprise with Joel Embiid, but Tyrese Maxey's going to be out.
Is Paul George still suspended?
Paul George is still suspended until the 25th of this month.
All right, well, they're kind of in a bit of trouble. I know they fall into 8 despite earlier in the season. Weren't they like, wasn't their peak at like 4 or something?
Yeah. It was
Jesus,
earlier
I
in
feel
the season.
okay.
It was 4, and then they had their falling from grace to
They
now
they
8.
fell off in the starting in the new year, but yeah, I will say I do feel bad for them. But anyway, what was I gonna say? That's said. The Blazers, I know they have the easy schedule and all, but they still have been losing a lot of games. Like they lost to the Hornets, which I'm gonna be honest is no surprise.
Yeah.
But they lost to the Hawks by, like, I'm looking right now, they lost by 34 to the Hawks last week, which is like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I
Like,
forgot about that. And the Hawks aren't a good team either, so
yeah, well, I mean, the
they're
Hawks
above
are playing.
average. Yeah,
The Hawks are about the same as us, where they're about 500. They're in the play-in.
that's true.
Like, holy shit, by 34.
34.
We won against the Grizzlies, which is to be expected.
Yeah,
And we lost to the Rockets, again to be expected. And we put up a good fight. We lost by 7.
that's not bad.
What this is telling me is I think the play-in is a lock, considering that the standings between us and I think it's Memphis, right? It's
Yes.
5 games. 5 games.
5
And
game
I don't think we
difference.
could fall from grace that badly.
No.
And it's the Grizzlies are trying to tank too, so I
What,
mean,
what I'm glad to see is that going into this game tonight that the Blazers are playing against Philly, they have Danny Avdija is questionable at the moment. So that
oh
brightens up a
no, I
little
think
bit.
it says the game tonight's versus the Pacers. I mean, they're the worst team in the league.
Yeah, that's
Could
expected.
be a lock. I mean, what this is telling me is that considering we lost by the Hawks by 34, I don't think we're at a road to go any higher than we're already at. There's
Yeah.
no way in hell we're reaching the 8 seed. We could reach the 9, I suppose, and get home field advantage. I mean, let me go back to the standings. Yeah, go past the Clippers. I don't know. I'm kind of doomer. I feel like we're gonna maintain the 10 seed. I hate to say it, but
You don't think
it
we'll
would
go past the 9th?
it would be lovely if we could earn home field advantage and not have to play at the Clippers stadium, which
Into a dome, yeah.
I know they're intimidating. They have the fucking wall and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be dealing with that.
No, Sir Bob. Portland doesn't have anything like that, but still, it's the Clippers.
Hey, maybe we'll get something like that due to the renovations.
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'll be whatever, harping back on that. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I just realized the 2 teams that I root for are both 10s. That's really funny. Anyway, yeah, but one of them clearly is has a better outlook.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep, that's my NBA. That's my NBA overview of the week, I suppose.
All right. We'll have to just stay tuned because I believe we're going to the Charlotte Hornets game on Tuesday.
We are going to the Hornets game, which will be entertaining.
So that will be entertaining.
I do hate. I feel like I am kind of scared that I'm even more worried about losing this game more than when we went to the game.
Oh yeah, because this is a fully healthy Charlotte squad. This is like
fully healthy, and I mean,
thing.
Shiver me timbers. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean,
We'll
I'm
wait and
looking forward to
look.
it. Wait and look, and then give feedback after. Well, that's gonna wrap up for the second episode of VOD Sportscast, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll still continue doing this. We
Yep.
might have something in the works. We'll see. I'm your host, Dak,
I'm Oliver.
and thank you guys for listening. And we'll catch you next time on the OD Sportscast. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.